Apple needs more buybacks. I'm quoting Carl Icahn here, who said this for years. But why would actually a company would like to buy back its own shares? Hi, it's Martin from Real Estate Value, and today I want to talk about stock buybacks. Why companies want to buy back their own shares. Now, one of the reasons, and the best reason, is when a company considers that its stocks are grossly undervalued. Now, the best example for this was when Warren Buffett decided that Berkshire Hathaway are grossly undervalued, and instead of buying some new businesses, acquiring some new companies, he decided that the best use of their money is to buy back its own shares. This usually happens when the price to book value ratio of Berkshire Hathaway went below 1.3. Another reason why usually companies decide to buy back their own shares is taxes. In ideal tax conditions, companies should return the money to investors in form of dividends. However, in almost every country, capital gain tax are much lower than dividend tax. And also, you need to pay your taxes on your capital gains only when you sell your shares. Compare that to dividends, where you need to pay every year the taxes. Now, there is also a bad reason to buy back shares, and this is related to executive compensations. In most companies, the executives receive a significant part of their income in some kind of bonuses. And in most cases, these bonuses are in form of options on the stock. This means if the price of the stock goes up, then also the value of those options go up, and executives, CEOs, and so on make a lot of money. This means that executives have a vested interest to push up stock prices even if the stock is already overpriced. Now, some companies bring this to a higher level when the company is buying back its own shares and at the same time the insiders are selling. Now, usually you don't want to invest in the long run in companies where this is happening. Now, some companies bring this to an even higher level, and this is when they actually borrow money or issue bonds and buy back shares with that money. Now, in normal interest rates conditions, this would not make any sense. Why would a company borrow money to buy back its own shares? However, in today's environment where we have artificially low interest rates, some company can issue bonds at such low rates that probably they have negative real interest rates. In that situation, it makes all the sense to borrow money and buy back your own shares. Now, in case of Apple, what Apple is doing would not make any sense in normal market conditions. So, if we would have ideal taxes, this means that capital gains tax would be taxed the same way as dividends are taxed, and we would have normal interest rates. It would not make any sense for Apple to buy back its own shares at the same time issuing bonds. However, in today's market environment, it does make sense. What Apple is doing is that it's borrowing money. He can finance his expenditures in the US with that money, and with the foreign profits, he can buy back some shares, and he doesn't need to pay US taxes on that money because it's not repatriating that money. And he also can deliver higher value to shareholders because instead of paying out dividends and letting investors decide what to do with their dividends, reinvest in Apple by buying more shares or buying something else. They buy back shares themselves, and in this way, instead of dividends, shareholders receive their profits in capital gains, and they don't need to pay such high taxes on capital gains. So as I mentioned, in ideal market condition, what Apple is doing would not make any sense. However, in today's environment, it makes perfect sense. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. Also check out our other videos as well. Check out our webpage, and see you in the next video. Bye.